Jeff discovered something strange while using the toilet. The world had already ended, but a group of strangers was approaching. He quickly turned around and rushed back to his camp. It had been 10 years since the apocalypse, and only a few thousand people remained on Earth. And now, another group carrying knives appeared. This could only mean trouble. Jeff was terrified and fell to the ground. His father heard the noise and quickly took a look, but by the time he saw them, they were only a few dozen meters away. His father, experienced in battle, knew a fight was imminent, but Jeff froze. His wife, already infected, was lying nearby. Seeing his father packing up, Jeff finally snapped out of it and helped with the packing. But the strangers were almost at the camp. His father had no choice but to kick the wooden boards and led the family out the back door. Running away wasn't an option, so his father opened the toilet lid and shoved Jeff and his wife inside. He turned to face the ruthless strangers alone. But how could one man face a whole group? At first, he took down a few, but in seconds, he was struck down. Jeff and his wife could only tremble in fear, watching his father being killed in front of them. They had to hold back their tears to survive. But then even worse happened. The strangers entered the camp and found the bag Jeff had accidentally dropped. Inside were the precious pills. After the apocalypse, most people were infected, and only those pills could keep them alive. But now, the pills were gone. What would happen to Jeff's wife? Seeing his father's body being lifted away, Jeff decided to wait until they left to come out. But the leader seemed to notice something strange. He crouched down and sniffed at the toilet. The strange smell made him cough repeatedly. Jeff quickly covered his wife's mouth, and the leader eventually left. The couple managed to escape unnoticed. After the strangers left, Jeff crawled out of the toilet. The camp was a mess. Everything was looted, and his wife's infection was worsening. She was lying on the bed, weak and helpless. Jeff looked at her worsening wounds. He intended to grab the box of pills beside the bed, but when he picked it up, it was empty. His wife was in so much pain that Jeff almost gave in to the urge to smother her with a pillow. But being his wife, he just couldn't bring himself to do it. To find the pills to save his wife, Jeff left the remaining water for her. Then he hid the camp and set off to find the strangers. He followed the bloodstains left by his father, searching the wilderness. But the temperature had dropped to minus 20 degrees Celsius. He was only wearing a t-shirt and shorts. It wasn't long before Jeff collapsed to the ground, struggling with hunger and cold. But through his haze, he noticed something. A boy was walking in the distance. Jeff quietly followed him until the boy reached home. The boy immediately closed the door. Realizing he couldn't escape, the boy ran to his grandfather and kicked open the iron gate. But instead of harming them, he took his grandfather's clothes and continued on his journey. In the winter forest, Jeff found another clue. Looking at the scattered bones on the ground, Jeff buried his father in the snow. He didn't have time to mourn. He had to find the pills, or his wife would soon die. Without the blood trail to follow, Jeff climbed a tall tree to try and spot the stranger's movements. Soon, he noticed smoke in the distance, but he wasn't paying attention to his surroundings. Jeff fell from the tree, and before he could recover, a pack of wild dogs started barking. Jeff tried to get up, but his body was too injured. He remembered that fire scares wild dogs. He just needed to light the campfire the strangers left behind. As the sun began to set, Jeff's fire was roaring, and the wild dogs retreated. He successfully avoided the danger. The next day, he woke up from his sleep and was lucky enough to find a new lead. A bloodstain floated down the small river in the forest. A woman was washing her knife. Jeff quietly followed her, but he couldn't make a move yet. His goal was to find their base camp. Following the woman's trail, Jeff quickly arrived at the camp. The pills had to be there. Seeing that only the woman was there, Jeff intended to rush in, but the group was cautious. They had set up alarm bells. Jeff knew he had to be careful. He picked up a stone and managed to sneak in. After searching thoroughly, he didn't find the pills in the bag. He had to rummage through everything, but he didn't notice the woman sneaking up on him. The two immediately struggled. Using a stone he had found, Jeff quickly knocked her down. He realized the next clue was in the RV. He searched the RV, but just then, the strangers returned. Jeff quickly wiped away the bloodstains and hid the traces of the struggle. He planned to hide the woman away, but he didn't know who he was really up against. As soon as the group returned to camp, they grabbed the boy and tied him up. Moreover, the leader was extremely cautious. Upon returning, I noticed the mirror had been moved. At once, he ordered his men to tie the boy up. The leader immediately went to the river to search for his female teammate. Jeff knew staying hidden wasn't a long-term solution. Seeing the group leave in full force, Jeff covered the woman with leaves and waited for the right moment to sneak back into the camp. But there was an infected person guarding the camp. Jeff waited until the infected person returned to the RV. Before making his move, he planned to rescue the boy first, but the boy thought Jeff was going to hurt him and screamed outside. The infected person, unable to hold it anymore, came out to check. By then, it was too late. Jeff had already freed the boy, and the infected person quickly followed after. At that moment, Jeff rushed to the camp and found a locked chest. The pills must be inside, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't open it. And just then, the leader returned.